What's good, guys? It's Sam here. I want to talk about the results of this past week, another fucking stellar week. And I'm going to talk about the growth and go over the numbers and the analytics from some of the social as well as YouTube and share them with you so you get to see exactly what I'm doing. Before I get started, though, I am documenting my journey to getting to $100 a day online. If you'd like to join me on that journey, make sure you press that subscribe button and that little bell notification. If you would like to support the channel, there's a link for Amazon in the description. It doesn't cost you anything extra. If you're going to purchase something from Amazon, use that link in the description, and instead of that profit going to Amazon, I get a small portion of it. It's this exact same for you. So the product I have in the description is for a pre-workout, but you use whatever works for you. Just click on that link, and then I will get credit for it. If not, it's cool. Now, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with the overall social reach that I went over in last week's video. And what it does is it tracks the YouTube reach, Twitter impressions, Pinterest viewers, Medium, which is a blogging platform, LinkedIn profile views. I got to figure out a better way to track the data from LinkedIn because all I have is profile views over the last 90 days, and that's not a good representation of the total post reach or impressions from LinkedIn. So I've got to figure out a better way to come up with data on that. If you know of a better way of tracking that, let me know down below in the comments, please. And then this week I added the total number of views. So I'm going to get right into there, and then I'm going to go into the actual minutes watched on YouTube. Minutes watched is more important than views. They're both greatly important. In terms of it, if you could have a video where people watch 98% of a 2-hour long video versus I have a very clickbaity title and thumbnail on my video and people only watch 3 seconds, that's the essence why YouTube is pushing minutes watched versus views, because of that. They want quality versus just shit, you know what I mean, in terms of clicks. Okay, now with that, let's get into it. So I'm going to show you the spreadsheet here. As I was talking about, we've got the date over here on the left-hand side, the reach, impressions on Twitter, viewers on Pinterest, views on Medium, LinkedIn profile views, and YouTube views on a weekly. So everything up here is on I think a 28-day time frame, except for LinkedIn profile views. That's on a 90-day period. So if you look here, broke 5,000 for the reach as of today, a few minutes ago. Now with the Twitter impressions, unless somebody else knows how to get the actual number, if you come over here to the actual Twitter, it just tells me 15 and it doesn't give me anywhere to click, although I have never really tried to dig in to see where I could get that to. But you can see some of these crazy numbers, like 18, well, that's tweets. 2,000% increase in terms of impressions, 10,000 into profile visits, mentions. That's fucking crazy. Even though it's only 19, and then 84% increase in terms of the number of followers. But let's go back here. So I just added in the YouTube data for the 15th. I don't have it for the 16th yet. I probably won't have it until the 17th, which is Monday. So if you just compare this number with this number here, you can see there's over a 10% increase in terms of 20.5 thousand versus 23.5 thousand. That's a 3,000% increase, or a 3,000, yeah, 3,000, not percent, but 3,000 increase in total reach just across the platforms, excluding YouTube. Once I have the YouTube data, I will put that in there as well. But that's why it's got a drop here and a 77 increase, just because I added in the data for YouTube at that point. So now the reach and impressions and views, that's cool and everything. So if you look at that, that's 36,000 in one over the last 28 days of my reach. That's pretty incredible, in my opinion, versus like, I don't know. I mean, from how I was doing, I mean, just a few days ago it was 18. Obviously, I didn't have YouTube views in there, but even if it was at 30, like that's still a substantial reach in my opinion. But that's not the important part. The important part is the actual people who are clicking through to YouTube. Another thing that I started tracking was Social Blade, and the Social Blade numbers haven't updated in a few days. That's why it's as of the 13th. But you can see here, almost on the daily or every other day, it's growing, except for this last one right across the bottom here. I'm not sure if they just updated it or something happened, so I expect, because I haven't seen an update in a little bit on Social Blade, so I expect when I do see an update, sorry about the shakes, when I do see an update, I expect a substantial increase in terms of, excuse me, wow, you fucking pig, right? Come on, bro. What this represents is not the total number of views on my channel. This is the ranking of all people on YouTube. So if you stack rank people for views on YouTube, all the channels out there, my channel is ranked at the 2.6 millionth spot in terms of subscribers, the 2.8th, and then they come up with their own proprietary ranking. So you can see here I'm at 1.5 million roughly for that ranking. Now, another thing that I've been tracking is actually the minutes on YouTube, as I mentioned earlier, on a weekly basis. So I have, so to get to $100 a day, I did just a CPM of around, I think it was like $2 or $2.50 or something like on those lines. And I think at around 1 million minutes watched on a monthly basis, I should be able to get around $2,000 from YouTube ads. And then through other stuff, whether that's Amazon or something else at that point, I think I can get another $1,000. So that would be $1,000 a day. And so currently I'm using Amazon Associates. If you want to support the channel, use the link in the description. And so I'm tracking the number of clicks as well as the total number of earnings. The earnings I haven't had a new sale since last sale I had was 6 days ago, and it was on December 10th. So the total number the total amount that I've earned since I've started this about 3 or 4 weeks ago is $8.64 online, which is still pretty cool though to earn $8.50 online. And I expect that to continue growing, especially being in the month of December. Another thing that I also started tracking that I actually forgot to update, I believe it is it's for the Instagram followers and the total number of posts on Instagram. So if you look at this, I didn't put down the total number of posts, but you can see I started tracking on the 10th, and I haven't been doing it every day, but it went down, and now it's back up to 42. But I think I've been hovering around that range for a while, and I posted once today already, I believe. So we're just going to track this and see, maybe if I double this up to 4 posts a day, how the number of followers is affected. And at some point, I'm going to get better data on that as well, or maybe even convert it to a business account, so that way I can get the total number of clicks and profile views and video views and all that stuff aggregated together for me, potentially. I just haven't done that yet. Also, I have a good video coming out later today on Pinterest and what I'm going to do to increase the conversion on Pinterest to YouTube. But stay tuned for that. Also, if you're watching this after the 16th of December, it will be live. Okay, so these are the numbers. So what I modeled out, as I mentioned, 1 million per month equals about 250 minutes watched on a weekly basis. If you model that out from when I started to the end of March in 2020, I just need about a 7.8% growth rate on a weekly basis. So anybody who knows anything about compounding or math knows that even though the growth rate is only 7.85% on a weekly basis, that seems relatively low. However, if you sustain a weekly growth rate of even 1%, you extrapolate that out just a very short period of time and you have tremendous growth. So let's take a look at my actual numbers here. Sorry about the shakes. So week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. This is what I just finished with, 7,000. So if you look at this on a weekly basis, on a weekly growth basis, these are like crazy numbers. So I haven't dropped below 24% growth rate on a weekly basis. This is tremendous. Like, to have a weekly growth rate of 25% is just crazy. So if you come over here, right? So I'm tracking right now for already beating my goal that was that I would have crossed over in the end of April going into May. And this is still 2018. So I am all these weeks ahead, all the way down here. Like, I'm 4.5 months ahead of schedule right now in terms of the number of minutes watched on a weekly basis. And this is continuing to grow. Another cool way to look at this too is if you just look at the growth rate, right? So obviously I had a little bit of a dip from 36% down to 27%, but just the absolute number of minutes watched from 5,500 to 7,000, that's 1,500, right? 2 weeks in, I had 1,500 total for the entire fucking week. And I had a growth rate, a growth week over week, that was equal to my entire week of 1110. That's pretty crazy. Also, another way to look at that is this number here in 1 week represents more than what I did in the entire month of October. That's pretty crazy. Or like this number here in 1 week, I did probably about 65% of what I did in the whole month of November. The whole month of November, I think I had about 11,000 minutes watched. So I had 7,000 in 1 week in December. So it's like a 60-something% in terms of the minutes watched on a weekly basis versus what I did in the month of November. That's pretty crazy. Like, I'm super curious because traditionally the November and December have not been fantastic months for my channel. So January has always been a very healthy month. So I've got 2 more weeks until January. So it tends to be like the last 3 or 4 days of the year starts to, I see a tick up. Right around Christmas, I see a drop. And then the last couple of days of the year, as people were starting to think about New Year's resolutions and actually not being fast lobs and taking action about their life in terms of from a fitness standpoint, that's when I start to see a big uptick in terms of minutes watched. So I'm super curious to see how January plays out. If you take 7,000 and you multiply that times 4 weeks in a month, that's 28,000 on a monthly basis. That would be the best month or second best month I've ever had. So anyways, now to get into the Amazon links, this is when I started about 4 weeks ago. I started midway through the week. I had 4 clicks. Then I had 87, 54, and this past week that just ended on the December 15th, I had 81 clicks. So out of all those clicks, I've only had 4 sales, but that's fine. That's still a relatively low number. As I continue to get that number to increase, I expect my conversion to actually increase, and that is where, at least at this moment in time, I believe that I can get the extra 1,000 to get to $100 a day online. Anyways, this is a very long video. If you're still watching at this point, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, or if you want to do it yourself, like, just watch my videos. I mean, or you don't have to watch them, but I'll tell you exactly what I am doing and how I'm doing it, how I'm marketing every single little bit of this so you can do exactly this. Like, I've never done this before. I'm just winging it. See? I know at some point I'll be able to get to $100 a day. Maybe it's not by the end of March in 2020. Maybe it's 2022. Maybe it's May of 2019. I don't know. We'll see. And I will bring you along on that journey. So if you're interested, make sure you press that subscribe button as well as that bell notification. However, with that bell notification, I post a lot of videos. So just be prepared to stay updated on all of the copious amount of videos that I do post. And again, if you want to support the channel from a financial standpoint, I think I might start a Patreon page and just see how that plays out. But in the meantime, it doesn't cost you anything. Just use my Amazon link if you were going to purchase something on Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything. It just gives me a tiny sliver of the profit that Amazon would make from selling something. I get it. So if you do use it, that would be awesome. If not, completely get it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.